Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Carol Rose, in case you don't know. And I'm blessed to be here this morning as your practitioner. And consciousness rising, of course, it could have changed by now. No, it didn't change. Rev Ann Rea's talk title, which, as you all know, is what I am endeavoring to talk about today. I found something. I love this book. Brent actually connected me to Ellen Cohen at one time, and I found this book somewhere, A Deep Breath of Life. It's a daily meditation book. And I have a couple other books of his I'm really enjoying. He is quite a spiritual leader. So this, the title of the page is Consciousness, Not Conditions. And I just thought this kind of would work. So I'm not going to read the whole page. I've highlighted parts of it that I think are appropriate that you might resonate with. One of the questions I most frequently ask is, how do I know if something I am praying for is in my best interest? How can I tell if my request is being inspired by love or driven by my ego? The real answer to the question is to understand that what you are seeking is not really conditions, but consciousness. You may be praying for a new BMW, but what you really want is to know that you are an abundant being living in a wealthy universe. You may be seeking a soulmate, but behind your search is the quest to know that you are lovable and cherishable. You can get the conditions, but if you do not have the consciousness, you will be ever seeking and striving for more conditions. If you have the consciousness, however, the conditions will usually manifest automatically, and even if they do not, I like this line, you will be secure in your wholeness.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I really love that. Gotta stop there. I was going to read more, but gotta stop there. Although, there is one more piece, slightly. So, practice consulting your heart before speaking or acting. If you're not sure what to say or do, take a moment, draw a few deep breaths, and feel what is happening in your chest. Then you will know. Okay. So the affirmation is, I'll say it and then we'll say it again together. The power of my life is in my hands. I choose to love and be whole. The power of my life is in my hands. I choose to love and be whole. And so it is.
So it is.
Carol, good morning. I'm Joseph Saleck, the music director here at the Everyday Center. And this morning it's a pleasure to be introducing and welcoming for the first time at her appearance at the Everyday Center, Petra Babankova. Petra was born in Prague, which was formerly Czechoslovakia and today is the Czech Republic. And in 1980, she immigrated to Canada with her mom and her sister. She studied music at McGill and at the University of Montreal, and has been greatly influenced by her earlier teacher, Antonin Bartos, and lately Alvaro Pieri and David Russell. Since 2002, Petra has lived here in Santa Fe, and she currently is a teacher at Monte del Sol, and she also performs around town, solo and sometimes with a cellist. Please join me in welcoming Petra Babankova.
Welcome, Petra. And thank you so much. Your playing is beautiful. So I don't need to wait till the end to know how much I appreciate your beautiful gift. When I met Petra this morning, she said, I said what a delight it is to welcome you, and she said, well, wait till the end. Good morning, every day.
Good morning.
So here I am in white. My mother said that I couldn't wear white till Easter. And so I don't. Even though it's been snowing and raining. You know, and Denise always likes to tell me once we're getting close to the end of March, Denise always likes to tell me how close we're getting to summer. I go, not yet. Not yet. Santa Fe weather is really its own experience. And it just loves to surprise and delight us. And we are grateful for every drop of moisture.
For sure.
Oh, you know what? I left the book over there.
Book is right behind
I have one over here too, but I left that book over there. Okay. Thank you. I think I'll move these to the piano. First, I want to go back to something that Carol shared with us from this book by Babankova about consciousness, not conditions. Because it's really, for us to dive deep into what I plan to discuss today, we have to know the difference. We have to really know the difference. We have to get the difference. We have to get the difference between the BMW and a consciousness of wealth or abundance. If wealth gives you lissiness, if the word wealth is something, or the idea of wealth is something that you have an allergy to, abundance, then it's an awareness. Now, is the BMW also an awareness? Sure. But the BMW is just a representation. It's an outpicturing, right?
Right.
And the other example in this amazing reading is about, in this case, wanting a relationship, but I would say wanting anything. So what is the outpicturing a representation of? That's what we need to ask ourselves, is when we're hooked on a representation, what is it a representation of in terms of our consciousness, and what it is that we're really calling forward into our experience? Are you with me?
Yes.
So far?
Yes.
Okay. Because That is such an important difference. Our focus so often is on the thing. Whether it's the thing we want or the thing we don't want, it's a focus on the thing. And the thing is a condition, and every condition can change.
Mm-hmm.
And usually does. Our consciousness, on the other hand, is the idea behind the thing, behind what the thing represents. And what I'm asking all of us to do today is to be wherever we are in our consciousness and raise it. Lift it up. Think bigger. Take our consciousness. You know how, for any of you who have watched ever any kind of sports, sometimes in the stands they throw a ball around. And they're just taking this ball and it's not like throwing a baseball around. They're just, it's like being at the beach and just playing with a ball and keeping the ball in the air. Let's take our consciousness airborne. Let's take it aloft. Let's give it some altitude. We are being asked every day to focus on conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Not only our own, but those that are projected by somebody, and conditions that are happening in the world. And I'm not suggesting for a moment, as you know, as anybody listens to me for more than 5 minutes, as you know, I am not suggesting that we ignore that. What I am reminding us is that that's not where our value is.
Mm.
And our value is the good we can do, the change we can bring. By lifting our consciousness above the level of conditions to, let's say, a world where all of us feel safe, where all of us feel included, where all of us feel welcome. Where all of us feel seen. That is taking our consciousness off of conditions and lifting it up to a place of possibility. That is not fantasy land. It's not fantasy land. Possibility is not fantasy land. Although it can feel like a thing of fantasy. You know what's interesting is all of those things exist somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one I mentioned. There are people in the world who feel safe. There are people in the world who feel seen. There are people in the world who feel cared about. There are people in the world who feel comfortable in their environment. There are people and that doesn't make them any the less involved or concerned or desirous, I think that's a word, of good for others. There are people who actually live that way. And are they obtuse? Are they ignoring what's going on elsewhere in the world? No. They're not ignoring what's going on elsewhere in the world. What they're doing is they are not making what's going on elsewhere in the world the recipient of their peace. Let me explain what I mean. Within us, I believe that there is a place of peace, a place of calm, a place of serenity, a place of everybody just went into action to make sure that people could get in the door. Within us all, whether we're aware of it or not, is this zone. And you know what's interesting about that zone is it cannot be made more or less by anything or anyone. It cannot be taken away from us. Come on in. Come on in. You're already in. Come on in. There's 2 seats right there. Linda, you can make my cape go somewhere else. My Wonder Woman cape go somewhere else. Oh, good. Carol's going to use it for a blanket. Hi. You probably have no idea what you just walked into, and that's just great. Welcome. We are the Everyday Center for Spiritual Living. We are a philosophy, not a religion, and we are talking about consciousness, which is the idea that inspires the desire for something, the what comes up in us that inspires the desire for something, and conditions, which are sometimes the outpicturing of that something. So the desire may be to feel, let's say that we have a car that has been having issues. Nobody here, right? And so we may be thinking about a new car, and that idea of the new car may turn into an idea of a BMW, because if we had a BMW, then not only would we have a new car to us, but we would have a representation of the comfort that we live in our lives. That's a condition. So it's an outpicturing of the idea. Okay? That's where we are so far. So the thing is, when we're looking at other people's conditions, because we're going to spend most of this morning talking about this business between our own conditions and our own consciousness. But when we are looking at other people's conditions and judging them, what are we doing?
Making a mistake.
Getting out of our
Making a mistake. We are. We're out of our lane. Our lane is our life. That is the only thing that we can impact. Now, you've heard me say many times, everything we do, no matter how seemingly insignificant, like looking in each other's eyes and smiling, touches everything and everyone around us, right? That's not the impact I'm talking about. I'm talking about when we focus on other people's choices and on how they reveal themselves in the world. Are we in an area of life that we can actually control?
No.
Is that not part of our frustration?
Yes.
It's all right, you can say it out loud. It is part of our frustration, that because we want to fix it. We want to fix it so that it looks the way we want it to look. Well, fixing it to be the way we want it to look is not our job. Fixing our own life, not that it needs fixing. I'm just saying, just fine-tuning our own life to be in alignment with what it is that we say we believe, and with bringing our best self to wherever we are, which is a representation of what we say we believe, is it not?
Yes.
That improves everything. That improves everything. But now, how do we elevate our consciousness? How do we elevate this part of us that desires? Some of the examples that I used before were safety, comfort, peace of mind, peace of heart. How do we elevate our consciousness to be clear on those things? And to be so clear on those things that we stop messing around with what might represent that. Because what we think might represent that might not at all. It might not represent it in a way that actually gives us that feeling of ease, that feeling of peace, that feeling of safety and groundedness, that feeling of moving in the world, leaving a wake of good behind us. Isn't that a lovely thought?
Yes.
To move around in the world leaving a wake of good behind us? And you know what's really great? Is that we can all do that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to be Gandhi or Thich Nhat Hanh or Mother Teresa. We can all do that. Just by intending it. Have most of you heard of a thing called Burning Man?
Yeah.
So, Burning Man doesn't have many rules. But they have one that is black and white. And that is leave no trace.
Mhm.
So wherever they go, wherever Burning Man happens, the point is to leave it as you found it. To leave the land and everything around you exactly the way you found it. That is leaving a wake of good. Just having that intention is leaving a wake of good. So here we are with our consciousnesses, which, you know, they may still be in research and development, in the research and development department, because we may not even know that we had one. And it isn't being conscious, because I see you all looking back at me, so I can tell you're all conscious. It goes beyond that. It goes to a level of being that is creative in its ability beyond our imagining. Which is why using that consciousness intentionally and attentionally.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Makes a huge difference in the outcome. Now, maybe you really did want that BMW. Am I saying that's bad?
No.
No. I'm not. What I'm saying is it's small.
Mhm.
Compared to the power, and I know that word scares some people, especially these days. It's all right, breathe. This is good power. It's like getting into good trouble. The power, the potential that exists in our consciousness. A BMW is nothing.
Mhm.
Health, youthfulness, vitality, resources beyond our imagining, ease, grace. These are not conditions.
Mhm.
These are ways of life. And when we're looking at a condition to represent what we mean by the way of life we mean to be living, we're looking in the wrong place.
Mhm.
Everyone in this room now knows that in our philosophy we believe there's one life. And that life by any name is beauty, is truth, is grace, is unconditionally loving. Ooh. is living in and through and as all of its creation. The juniper out there, the birds that are building a nest in the lights, the water that's dripping from the melted snow. Oh. God's calling. And that life lives by means of us, in addition to everything else. It lives in and through and as us. And it expresses no more directly than through our consciousness. So as we get more in touch with our consciousness and its activity, instead of focusing our attention on conditions, we will see wonders happening in our life. We will see changes happening in our lives. Not only our lives, but the lives of the people that we care about, whether we know them or not.
Mm. We
will see that the table is already set for peace in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that peace, in fact, already exists. What we're looking at is the places where it doesn't seem to.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And we're saying that's proof that there is no peace in the world. Not true. The peace in the world that we hold dear in our hearts and that we affirm every day already exists.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't need tweaking.
Right.
What it requires is our conviction. What our consciousness requires in order to do and reveal and manifest the things that I have mentioned, and more and more and more and more and more, is our conviction. This is not a maybe game. This is not a game for lightweights. In fact, it's not a game at all. It is life as it works, no matter what, for everyone, everywhere, all the time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see some elevation, some consciousness rising. And what is this? What does my hand represent? My hand represents the conviction that I am talking about, that this is not an if.
Right.
This is a when.
Mm-hmm.
It will be shown the how.
And so it is.
And so it is.
One more thing. And then
Addend-
there was another thing.
addendum.
I came across this reading, and I thought, oh my God, I've got to do that on Sunday. Okay. So, everybody, whether or not you think you can, well, I can't look at you. Whether or not you think you can sing a tune or hold a tune, everybody hum. Let's just do it again. Do you have a happiness practice? The world is so thirsty for your petals of happiness. In any moment, let me do this instead. In any moment of commitment for the coming after a full day of play. On your in-breath, smile broad. Then, hum your happiness out. So we're going to take an in-breath, we're going to smile, and then we're going to hum our happiness out. Breath by breath, hum your happiness out to the parched places where sorrow or violence has smothered joy with bitterness or fear. Hum your happiness, resolutely smiling out to corners of crying and despair. You can do this. You were born to do this. You who are not in the crossfire or in the line of refugees along the road. You forgot you are made of vibrations. You forgot that energy is real. Quick, remember, practice happiness every day. Dedicate your practice for the merit of all beings. Hum your happiness out to the hard, sharp places. It takes as long as writing a check. You can do this. You can make your contribution to quenching the world's great thirst.
Beautiful.
Okay, that takes us to our time of conscious giving. Will the ushers please come forward? So, we've been talking about consciousness. So obviously, conscious giving is about giving from your heart, where you're fed, and where you're spiritually fed. And it's not always about money. It can be about service. It can be about cookies and yummy things that are on the table. It can be about service on the board or practitioners or whatever. Whatever it is you are able to bring to our table, we appreciate. And so let us say our prayer together. The love of Spirit blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly. And so it is. And so I am honored and privileged to stand up here and to bless all of these contributions in the basket of money and all of the contributions that you all bring in so many different ways, including singing, including just showing up and smiling and hugging others here. And so for all these things, we know that what's in the baskets is blessed, we are all blessed, and it just goes out to the world, and we're grateful for that, and so it is.
And so it is.